Ladies, listen up. When it comes to relationships, it's so important to maintain your self-respect and keep the balance of power healthy. There are certain things you should never do with a man if you want to make sure you're valued and respected in your relationship. Today on Harvey's World, I'm sharing 5 things every woman should avoid in relationships. It's easy to get caught up in excitement and affection, but always remember, you deserve to be treated with love, respect, and kindness. Too often, women settle for less than they truly deserve, leading to frustration, resentment, and unhappiness. Understanding your worth and holding on to it with confidence is key to attracting the right kind of love into your life. One of the most important lessons is never settle for less than you deserve. Many women stay in relationships that aren't right, hoping things will improve or fearing loneliness. But if you constantly justify bad behavior or feel undervalued, you were accepting less than your worth, and that's not fair to you. Remember, a healthy relationship should bring out the best in both partners, not leave you chasing after attention or approval. You deserve someone who recognizes your value, makes you feel appreciated, and works with you to build a strong, loving bond. If you feeling disrespected, ignored, or drained, it might be time to step back and ask yourself, is this relationship truly making me happy? Being single is far better than being in a toxic relationship. Letting go of someone who doesn't meet your standards opens the door for someone who truly will. Your happiness is in your hands. Don't allow anyone to make you feel unworthy. You are a valuable, complete individual who deserves love, respect, and effort. Holding your standards high is empowering and will lead you to more fulfilling, healthy relationships. So ladies, if you want more tips like this to strengthen your self-worth, relationships, and life, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Harvey's World, and wherever you're watching from, Pakistan, India, USA, or anywhere in the world, remember, you deserve the very best. Hit that subscribe button and join the Harvey's World family today. One of the most important lessons in life and in relationships is learning to never settle for less than you deserve. Far too many women, in the name of love or fear of being alone, allow themselves to stay in relationships that don't serve them. They might ignore warning signs, overlook bad behavior, or convince themselves that things will get better over time. Let me be clear, if you are constantly justifying or rationalizing bad treatment, you are allowing yourself to accept less than your worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that any attention or affection is enough, especially if you are feeling lonely or insecure. But that mindset is dangerous. It sets you up for disappointment, heartbreak, and frustration. You deserve a partner who recognizes your value without you having to prove it constantly. A relationship should bring out the best in both people, not make you feel like you are chasing approval. If a man doesn't make you feel loved, appreciated, and cared for, he is not worth your time. Respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship. If you feel ignored, undervalued, or disrespected, it's time to take a serious look at your relationship. Too many women stay in unhealthy situations out of fear of being alone or a sense of obligation. But the truth is, a toxic relationship is far worse than being single. Disrespect can come in many forms: constant criticism, controlling behavior, ignoring your feelings, or dismissing your opinions. These behaviors are not signs of love, they are red flags. Never compromise your self-worth for someone who doesn't treat you like a priority. Standing up for yourself and refusing to tolerate bad treatment sends a message, not just to your partner, but to everyone around you, that you value yourself and expect to be treated with dignity. Your life, your passions, your dreams, they are yours. A relationship should complement your life, not consume it. Far too many women fall into the trap of losing themselves in a relationship. They let their partner dictate their choices, isolate them from friends and family, or pressure them into changing who they are. Independence is attractive. Confidence is attractive. Being your full, authentic self is what will draw the right partner into your life. Never give up your dreams, ambitions, or passions for for someone who doesn't encourage your growth. A healthy relationship is a partnership where both people inspire each other to reach their highest potential. Ladies, one of the most important lessons you can learn in life and in love is this: trust in your worth and hold your ground. Never settle for less than you truly deserve in any relationship. This doesn't just mean seeking respect, love, or appreciation. It also means protecting your principles, values, beliefs, and standards. These are the foundation of who you are, and they should never be altered or sacrificed to please someone else, including a partner. When you compromise your core principles, you risk losing a part of yourself. Relationships should be partnerships built on mutual respect, where both people honor each other's boundaries, beliefs, and values. Giving up what matters most to you, even for love, can result in a connection that is not authentic and one that may ultimately leave you feeling unfulfilled. It's natural to want to make your partner happy when you start developing feelings. At first, it might seem harmless to adjust your habits to fit their lifestyle, prioritize their interests over yours, or avoid conflicts by agreeing with things you don't truly believe. But these small compromises can slowly add up, creating a significant shift away from your true self. The danger is in losing sight of your identity in the pursuit of keeping the relationship intact. You might start saying yes to things you're uncomfortable with, ignoring your own desires, or bending your beliefs just to maintain peace. At first, it may feel like being selfless or supportive, but in reality, you are sacrificing the very things that make you who you are. Here's a key truth: a healthy relationship is not built on compromising your core values. True compromise is about meeting each other halfway, respecting differences, and finding common ground, not giving up what defines you. Constantly bending to accommodate someone else is unsustainable and can lead to frustration, resentment, and emotional burnout. Your principles are your guideposts in life. They shape your decisions, set your boundaries, and help you navigate the world with clarity. They reflect what you believe is right, what you value most, and how you want to be treated. For example, if honesty and transparency are non-negotiable for you, never accept a partner who thrives on secrecy or deception. If independence and career goals are important, you should never feel pressured to put them aside for someone who doesn't respect your ambitions. If family and friendships matter to you, you should never have to choose between them and your partner. Compromising your principles doesn't just affect your relationship, it affects your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Going against your beliefs creates internal conflict. You may feel guilty, stressed, or confused because you are no longer living authentically. Over time, this can lead to dissatisfaction, resentment, and an unhealthy dynamic in your relationship. Additionally, when you compromise your principles, you set a precedent for future behavior. You signal to your partner that it's acceptable to disregard your needs, beliefs, and values. This can lead to patterns where one person's desires always take priority, undermining equality and mutual respect in the relationship. A truly healthy relationship is balanced. Both partners should respect each other's individuality, support each other's dreams, and encourage each other to grow into their best selves. They should accept your beliefs, boundaries, and values as they are without trying to change your core essence. When you compromise on who you are at your core, you send a message, perhaps unintentionally, that you don't trust your partner to love you fully. But if someone truly loves and respects you, they will not ask you to change your fundamental self. They will embrace your values, honor your boundaries, and celebrate your individuality. The bottom line is this: never compromise your principles for the sake of a relationship. Your worth is non-negotiable, and a healthy, loving partnership will always respect and honor that. Stay true to yourself, hold your standards high, and remember that love should enhance your life, not diminish who you will. Never compromise your principles in a relationship. Doing so can lead to long-term unhappiness. When you allow someone to change the very things that define you, we're at risk of building a relationship based on false pretenses. You might stay with someone out of fear of being alone or because you don't want to disappoint your partner. But in doing so, you are betraying yourself. No matter how well the relationship seems to work for a time, inner conflict will eventually take its toll. If you've compromised your principles, dissatisfaction is inevitable. Over time, you may feel disconnected from both yourself and your partner, leaving you empty, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Respecting your principles does not mean you can't be flexible or open-minded. Every healthy relationship requires compromise, but compromise should never come at the cost of your core values. Flexibility is about being open to new ideas, finding common ground, and working through disagreements. It is not about changing who you are to fit someone else's vision of you. You should never feel like you have to pretend to be someone you're not. And you should never allow anyone to make you feel like you are not enough just as you are. A strong, healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. Both partners should feel seen, heard, and accepted for who they truly are. When you compromise your principles, you undermine this foundation. You create a dynamic where one person's needs or desires always take priority, which is unsustainable and harmful over time. To build a relationship that is fulfilling and lasting, it's essential to hold firm to your principles. The right partner will love and accept you for who you are, support your growth, and encourage you to live authentically. They won't ask you to sacrifice your values, identity, or happiness. In conclusion, compromising your principles may seem like a way to keep the peace or make a relationship work, but it comes at a high personal cost. Your principles are the foundation of your identity. Giving them up compromises not only your sense of self, but also your long-term happiness. Healthy relationships are rooted in mutual respect and understanding, where both partners honor each other's values and beliefs. The right relationship will allow you to remain true to yourself, grow as an individual, and live authentically. Never sacrifice the core of who you are for anyone, because self-respect and authenticity are the keys to a fulfilling, lasting, and truly loving relationship. Ladies, I want to talk to you today about something that is absolutely essential in every woman's life, something that will determine not just the quality of your relationships, but the quality of your life. It is the principle of knowing your worth, trusting in yourself, and never compromising who you are for anyone, including a partner. In the excitement of love, in the warmth of companionship, it is so easy to get caught up in feelings, to focus on making someone else happy, to try and adjust your life to fit theirs. But the truth is that nothing, not love, not companionship, not promises, is worth giving up your principles, your values, your core beliefs, and your identity. Your principles are the foundation of your life. They are what shape your decisions, guide your choices, and define the boundaries that protect your heart and your mind. When you allow someone to influence or change these foundational aspects of who you are doing more than just compromising. You are putting yourself at risk of losing the very essence of your being. Compromising your principles may seem harmless at first. You might tell yourself that it is a small adjustment, that it is okay to let go of a habit or adopt a small preference to make your partner happy. You may alter your schedule and your habits or hide aspects of your personality that you fear will create conflict or disagreement. At first, it seems like kindness, like being thoughtful, but slowly, imperceptibly, it starts to shift who you are. Over time, these small changes accumulate into something significant, something that can make you feel unrecognizable in your own life, something that can leave you questioning who you are and what you stand for. It is tempting to think that in order to make a relationship work, you must adjust yourself, fit into a mold created by your partner, or adapt your beliefs to their vision of what you should be. You may find yourself agreeing to things that go against your values, saying yes when your instinct is to say no, or ignoring your own needs to avoid discomfort or disappointment. You may think that you are being supportive or selfless, But the reality is that when you compromise your principles, you are sacrificing yourself. You are giving up the very things that make you unique, strong, and valuable. A relationship is supposed to be a partnership, a collaboration where both people bring their full selves into the connection. True compromise in a relationship is not about losing yourself. It is about meeting each other halfway, respecting differences, and finding solutions that honor both individuals. When you compromise your core values, you are no longer in a partnership. You are in a dynamic where one person's desires always dominate the others, where your voice is muted and where your identity slowly fades. This is not sustainable. Over time, it creates frustration, resentment, and even emotional burnout. You may notice that your happiness diminish, that you feel empty or disconnected, and that the relationship no longer feels fulfilling. Your principles are not arbitrary. They are the things that guide you, that help you navigate life with integrity, clarity, and purpose. They reflect your beliefs about right and wrong, your priorities, and what you value most. If you value honesty, transparency, and integrity, you should never tolerate secrecy, deception, or manipulation in a relationship. If independence, ambition, and career growth are important to you, you should not feel pressured to put your dreams aside for a partner who does not respect or support them. If family, friendship, or personal growth are priorities in your life, you should never be forced to choose between them and someone who claims to love you. When you compromise these principles, it affects more than just your relationship. It impacts your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Internal conflict emerges when you act in ways that go against your values. You may feel guilty, stressed, confused, or lost because you are no longer living authentically. This conflict can lead to long-term dissatisfaction and can create an unhealthy environment in the relationship where your needs and desires are perpetually overshadowed by someone else's. Compromising your principles also sets a precedent. It communicates to your partner that it is acceptable to disregard your beliefs, values, and boundaries. This establishes an imbalance in the relationship where one person's wishes take priority, creating a dynamic that is unhealthy and unsustainable. A healthy relationship is one in which both partners respect each other, encourage each other's growth, honor each other's individuality, and create an environment where both people feel safe, valued, and appreciated. When you compromise on who you are at your core, you erode this foundation. You create a situation where love becomes conditional, dependent on your willingness to suppress your true self. You must understand that if a person truly loves and respects you, they will not ask you to change the core of who you are. They will accept your beliefs, your boundaries, your ambitions, and your individuality. They will celebrate you, support you, and encourage you to grow into your best self without asking you to sacrifice your identity. Fear is often at the root of compromising your principles. Fear of being alone, fear of conflict, fear of disappointing someone you love. These fears can make you convince yourself that it is okay to give up parts of who you are. But the truth is that being alone, being independent, and being authentic is far better than being in a relationship that slowly diminishes your spirit. When you choose to stand firm in your principles, you are not being selfish. You are being self-respecting, self-loving, and wise. A healthy relationship will honor your choices, your values, and your identity, allowing both partners to thrive, grow, and support each other without losing themselves. It is essential to remember that compromise in a relationship is not synonymous with self-sacrifice. Flexibility is important. Openness to new ideas, willingness to meet halfway, and the ability to adapt to circumstances are all part of a healthy partnership. But this flexibility should never come at the expense of your core values or the essence of who you are. Authenticity cannot be compromised for love, and self-respect cannot be traded for companionship. Long-term fulfillment in relationships comes from being loved for who you truly are, not for who someone wishes you to be. When you stay true to your principles, you create relationships that are honest, genuine, and sustainable. You attract partners who value your integrity, support your ambitions, and embrace your individuality. You cultivate a dynamic of mutual respect, trust, and understanding where both people are fully engaged and fully themselves. Conversely, compromising your principles may provide temporary harmony or the illusion of love, but it will ultimately lead to dissatisfaction. The more you give up, the more disconnected you feel from your own identity. Over time, this leads to resentment, emotional fatigue, and a sense that something fundamental is missing. Life is too short to live inauthentically, and love is too precious to sacrifice your values. It is critical to hold firm to your beliefs while remaining open, kind, and flexible in ways that do not compromise your essence. True partnership thrives on honesty, respect, and acceptance, not on conformity or self-denial. When both people in a relationship feel seen, heard, and valued for who they truly are, love grows naturally and the connection becomes strong, balanced, and fulfilling. Every woman deserves a relationship that uplifts her, supports her dreams, and allows her to maintain her individuality. You should never feel pressured to change your beliefs, hide your passions, or deny your desires to please someone else. Your principles are non-negotiable because they are the framework that allows you to live authentically and joyfully. Being true to yourself is not only empowering, it is necessary for a healthy and lasting relationship. You deserve a partner who celebrates your identity, respects your values, and encourages your growth. The right person will never ask you to compromise the essence of who you are. They will embrace it, cherish it, and see it as part of what makes you uniquely lovable. Relationships built on respect for each other's principles are resilient. They withstand challenges because both partners understand and honor the importance of individuality. They allow space for growth, differences, and healthy compromise without ever eroding the foundation of who each person is. This is the type of love that creates fulfillment, happiness, and long-term stability. Never allow fear, insecurity, or the desire for peace to make you sacrifice your principles. Doing so may seem easier in the moment, but it comes at the cost of your identity, your integrity, and your happiness. True love never demands that you abandon your values. It nurtures them, respects them, and aligns with them. Trust in your worth, hold your ground, and never settle for less than you deserve. Your principles are your compass, and they will guide you toward relationships that are authentic, supportive, and deeply fulfilling. Never compromise the core of who you are for anyone. Those who truly love and respect you will honor your beliefs, cherish your individuality, and support your growth. Self-respect, authenticity, and integrity are the keys to a meaningful, lasting, and joyful relationship. And when you embrace these values, you attract love that uplifts, sustains, and enriches your life. In every way, stand firm, stay true, and never compromise because your worth is priceless. And the love you deserve will always honor that. Ladies, today I want to talk about something that is absolutely crucial in every woman's life, something that can determine not just the quality of your relationships, but the quality of your entire life. It is the principle of knowing your worth, understanding your value, and never, ever compromising who you are at your core for anyone, including a partner. Too often, in the excitement of love, we get caught up in feelings, in attention, in validation, in the warmth of affection, and we forget something incredibly important. No relationship is worth sacrificing your principles, your identity, your beliefs, or your values. Your principles are the very foundation of who you are. They shape your choices, guide your decisions, and create the boundaries that protect not only your heart, but your mind and soul. When you allow someone else to influence or change those foundational aspects of yourself, you are not compromising. You are putting yourself at risk of losing the very essence of who you are. Compromise in a relationship can sometimes be necessary. Being flexible, being open to another person's ideas, learning how to meet someone halfway. These are healthy behaviors. But there is a difference between healthy compromise and sacrificing the core of who you are. Healthy compromise is about adjusting minor habits, finding middle ground, and resolving disagreements in ways that respect both partners. Sacrificing your principles is different. It is allowing someone else's desires, expectations, or opinions to change the things that define the things that make you unique, the values you hold most sacred. It may start small, almost imperceptibly. You may let go of a minor habit, adjust a preference, or avoid expressing your opinion to keep the peace. You may find yourself slowly saying yes to things you do not believe in, hiding aspects of yourself, or ignoring your own needs to prevent conflict or disappointment. At first, it feels like kindness, thoughtfulness, or love. But over time, these small changes accumulate into a significant shift, a gradual loss of identity that can leave you questioning who you are and what you stand for. The danger is not in giving. The danger is in giving up the core of yourself to make someone else comfortable. Many women think that to make a relationship work, to make someone happy, they must mold themselves into that person's vision of the ideal partner. You may think that love requires sacrifice at every turn, that putting someone else first means ignoring parts of yourself. But real love does not demand that you diminish your identity. Real love celebrates it. When you compromise your principles for the sake of love, you are not building a partnership. You are creating a dynamic where one person's needs and desires always dominate the others. This is not balance. This is not equality. This is not the foundation for a healthy relationship. It is a recipe for frustration, resentment, and eventually emotional burnout. Your principles are what give you clarity and direction. They are the framework that allows you to navigate life with confidence and integrity. They reflect your beliefs about what is right, what is acceptable, and what you value most. If honesty and transparency are important to you, you should never tolerate secrecy or manipulation. If independence and ambition are priorities, you should never feel pressured to set aside your goals or dreams. If your family and friendships are central to your happiness, you should never be forced to choose between them and a partner. Compromising these values does not just affect your relationship, it affects your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When you go against your beliefs, internal conflict arises. You may feel guilt, stress, confusion, or dissatisfaction because you are no longer living authentically. Over time, this conflict erodes your happiness and creates a dynamic where one person's desires always take precedence over your own. This imbalance is unhealthy and unsustainable. Another important aspect to understand is that when you compromise your principles, you also set a precedent. You are telling your partner, consciously or unconsciously, that it is acceptable to disregard your needs, boundaries, and values. This can lead to patterns in the relationship where one person's desires dominate, creating long-term dissatisfaction and inequality. A healthy relationship requires balance, mutual respect, and equality. Both partners should encourage each other to grow, to pursue their dreams, and to maintain their individuality. Both partners should feel safe to be fully themselves, fully authentic, and fully valued. When you allow someone else to compromise your principles, you undermine all of these foundations. You create a situation where love becomes conditional. It becomes dependent on your willingness to suppress your identity to accommodate the other person. This is not love. Real love does not ask you to be someone you are not. It does not ask you to deny your beliefs or hide your ambitions. Real love embraces all aspects of who you are, and a healthy partner will never ask you to change your essence. Fear often drives compromise of principles. Fear of being alone, fear of disappointing a partner, fear of conflict. These fears can make you believe it is acceptable to give up parts of yourself. But I want you to hear me clearly. Being authentic, Being true to yourself, being independent, and maintaining your principles is far better than remaining in a relationship that diminishes your spirit. Standing firm in your values is not selfish. It is wise, courageous, and self-respecting. A healthy relationship will honor your individuality, your beliefs, and your growth. It will not ask you to sacrifice the essence of who you are. Over time, these types of relationships are resilient, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. They are built on trust, respect, understanding, and a shared commitment to authenticity. Compromising your principles may seem like it keeps the peace or makes life easier, but it is an illusion. While it may smooth over disagreements in the short term, it creates dissatisfaction, resentment, and inner turmoil in the long term. No relationship can truly thrive on suppression of identity. Long-term happiness and fulfillment come from being loved for who you truly are, not for who someone wants you to be. Staying true to your principles is essential for attracting the right partner, the person who truly values, respects, and celebrates you. A relationship built on mutual respect for each other's values, beliefs, and boundaries allows both partners to grow, thrive, and enjoy authentic connection. In contrast, compromising your principles erodes this authenticity and prevents both individuals from fully experiencing the joy and growth that love can offer. Living authentically and maintaining self-respect sends a powerful message, not only to your partner, but to everyone in your life. It shows that you value yourself, that your happiness and well-being are important, and that you will not accept anything less than respect and integrity. This is not arrogance. This is self-worth. This is wisdom. Love should never demand that you deny your values or compromise your integrity. The right partner will love you for your strengths and weaknesses, for your passions and your priorities, for your individuality and your ambitions. They will not ask you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's expectations. In a world where women are often conditioned to give, to nurture, to compromise, and to accommodate, it is revolutionary to stand firm in your principles. It is an act of courage and self-respect. By maintaining your values and refusing to compromise on what matters most, you are setting yourself up for a relationship that is balanced, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. Every woman deserves a partner who sees her worth, respects her individuality, honors her principles, and supports her growth. This is the type of relationship that brings joy, stability, and long-term happiness. Standing firm in your principles is not just about protecting yourself. It is about creating space for love that truly aligns with who you are. It allows you to attract someone who complements your life rather than diminishes it. Someone who supports your dreams, encourages your growth, respects your boundaries, and values your beliefs. The journey of love should never ask you to abandon yourself. Compromising your principles may seem like a shortcut to harmony, but in reality, it is a path to dissatisfaction, resentment, and personal loss. True love never asks you to deny yourself. True love thrives on authenticity, respect, and mutual growth. It is never one-sided, and it never asks you to sacrifice the essence of who you are. Every time you stand firm in your principles, you are reinforcing your self-respect, honoring your identity, and creating the conditions for a relationship that is healthy, authentic, and sustainable. You are sending a message to yourself, to your partner, and to the world that your happiness, your values, and your identity are non-negotiable. Never let fear, insecurity, or the desire to please another person lead you to compromise your principles. Doing so may feel easier in the moment, but it has long-term consequences that affect not only your relationships, but your entire sense of self. Real fulfillment comes from love that respects your individuality, honors your values, and celebrates your authenticity. Real happiness comes from living according to your principles and finding a partner who embraces you completely. Remember that being in a relationship is not about losing yourself, bending yourself, or changing who you are. It is about creating a partnership that is balanced, supportive, and mutually fulfilling. It is about being seen, heard, and valued for exactly who you are, not for who someone wants you to be. Stand firm in your principles, trust in your worth, and never settle for less than you deserve. You are valuable, worthy, and deserving of love that enhances your life without compromising your identity. The right partner will recognize your value, support your growth, and celebrate your individuality. Love that asks you to sacrifice your core values is not love. It is a compromise of your integrity, and it will never lead to lasting happiness. Trust in yourself, hold your ground, and know that your principles are your compass. They will guide you toward authentic relationships that are fulfilling, respectful, and deeply rewarding. Self-respect, authenticity, and unwavering adherence to your values are the keys to a life of joy, meaningful relationships, and personal empowerment. You are worthy of love that honors every part of you, and you will only attract this kind of love when you refuse to compromise on the things that define you. Never settle, never give in, never compromise. Stand firm in your worth, trust in your principles, and live authentically because your happiness and fulfillment depend on it.